Alex had never been this far from human space before. The shuttle had shaken violently on the way down, and the alien world outside the viewport looked like a painting, an endless forest of glowing plants and misty air that seemed alive. He had trained for dangerous missions, but nothing quite prepared him for the raw, wild energy of an untouched planet. Every step on the metallic floor of the small outpost reminded him how fragile human life could be. The outpost itself was small, barely enough for a dozen people. Its walls were scratched from previous expeditions, and the hum of the energy core was the only comforting sound. Alex adjusted his gear and walked through the narrow corridors. He carried equipment critical for the colony's survival: a portable shield generator, sensors, and a set of alien analysis tools. His mind raced with thoughts of the mission, the dangers outside, and the possibility that the alien life on this planet might not welcome humans. When he entered the main living area, he froze. The place was crowded beyond expectation. Humans weren't the only occupants. Strange shapes moved around, slim, elegant forms that weren't entirely alien but definitely not human. His eyes met those of a young alien woman. Her skin shimmered softly in the dim light, and her eyes were large and intelligent, filled with curiosity and calm confidence. She looked at him and smiled. "Alex," she said in perfect human language. "I'm Leora." He blinked, momentarily caught off guard. Alien life was supposed to be studied from a distance, not chatting casually in the same room. He nodded, still unsure how to respond. "I see you brought the equipment," she said, gesturing toward the tools in his hands. "Good. We will need it." Alex set down his bag and followed her eyes to the small sleeping quarters. There was only one spare bed left in the outpost, and Leora's next words made him pause. "There's only one bed," she said, her voice calm but carrying a subtle weight. She stepped closer to him, not aggressively but close enough that he could feel the warmth radiating from her. "You can take it, or we can share it." Alex's mind spun. Share it? He shook his head slightly, trying to focus on the situation. This wasn't a romantic moment. It was survival. The storm outside was intensifying, and the outpost's energy shields flickered as alien winds slammed against the structure. He realized that despite the strangeness of the situation, Leora was practical, not flirtatious. They had no choice but to work together. Thank you," he said, keeping his voice steady. "I'll do whatever works best." She nodded and moved aside, allowing him to enter the small room. The bed was narrow, just enough for two to sit side by side. He unpacked his gear while she watched quietly. There was something in her gaze that made him feel both respected and observed. She didn't speak unnecessarily, but when she did, it carried clarity and intelligence that Alex immediately appreciated. Later, as they worked to stabilize the outpost systems, he realized she was more than capable. She understood human technology surprisingly well, adapting quickly to the consoles and tools. Alex had expected an alien to be brilliant in their own ways, but not necessarily cooperative with humans. Yet here she was, beside him, guiding, observing, and contributing in ways that made him feel human ingenuity was acknowledged. The storm outside grew stronger. The bioluminescent forest flickered with flashes of lightning, casting eerie shadows on the outpost walls. Alex paused, glancing out at the alien world. "This is something else," he muttered. Leora smiled faintly. "It is beautiful, isn't it? But also dangerous. Many who do not respect it fail to survive here." Alex nodded, tightening the straps on his equipment. "Humans survive because we adapt. We find a way." Her eyes studied him, and for a moment the weight of centuries of alien experience seemed to rest in her gaze. "I can see that," she said softly. "Perhaps humans are stronger than we thought." The outpost shuddered under another powerful gust. The energy shields flickered dangerously, threatening to fail. Alex and Leora exchanged a glance, a silent agreement forming between them. Survival wasn't just about individual strength, it was about trust and cooperation. They worked side by side, adjusting the generators, recalibrating the sensors, and patching the shields. Every move Alex made was precise, honed by years of experience, and Leora's knowledge complemented him perfectly. For a moment, the room felt like a small sanctuary against the raging storm outside. As night fell, the temperature inside dropped. The alien world outside grew darker, and the hum of the outpost became the only sound. Leora moved closer, not in a way that made Alex uncomfortable, but in a way that seemed natural. They were sharing warmth, sharing survival. "You do not seem afraid," she said quietly. Alex shrugged, trying to sound casual. Fear doesn't help. You survive by thinking, by acting. Humans are good at that. Her expression softened. I can see why your species thrives. Even in the face of danger, you do not falter. You do not break. He smiled faintly, feeling the tension of the day slowly ease. We break sometimes, he admitted. But we find a way back, we adapt. That's our strength. The storm raged outside, rattling the walls, but inside there was a fragile sense of calm. Alex and Leora finally settled near the bed, finishing the adjustments to the outpost systems. There was no need for words. Their cooperation had created an unspoken bond. They were not friends yet, not allies in the fullest sense, but something stronger had begun. A mutual respect forged in the crucible of survival. Suddenly a loud alarm blared through the outpost. Alex jumped to his feet. What now? He muttered, rushing to the control panel. Leora was already beside him. The outer shield is weakening faster than expected, she said. We need to reinforce it immediately. They worked quickly, their hands moving in perfect sync. Alex rerouted power from non-essential systems while Leora recalibrated the shield matrix. Sparks flew in the room filled with the smell of ozone. It was dangerous, but Alex felt alive. He was human, and humans thrived in situations where intellect and courage were tested. Finally, the shield stabilized. Both of them leaned against the wall, breathing heavily. The storm outside was still violent, but the immediate danger had passed. Leora looked at him, her expression unreadable for a moment, then softened into something resembling admiration. You were impressive, she said. Your species. It is remarkable. Alex shook his head, trying to appear modest. I just did what I had to do. Humans survive because we adapt. We face the impossible and keep going. Leora nodded, moving closer again. The distance between them was minimal yet comfortable. I believe you, she said quietly. And I trust you, that is, not easy for my kind. Alex felt a warmth that had nothing to do with the outpost's limited heating systems. He realized that survival was not just about equipment, shields, or knowledge. It was about connection, trust, and understanding. In this moment, across species and worlds, he felt that bond forming. The night grew colder, but inside the small room there was a fragile warmth. The alien and the human sat side by side, sharing space and strength. Outside, the storm continued to rage, but inside, two beings from different worlds had found a common ground. Alex finally relaxed, leaning back against the wall. Leora mirrored his movement. The silence was not awkward. It was shared, a quiet understanding of the day's trials and what tomorrow might bring. You do not sleep easily, do you? Leora asked softly. Alex shook his head. Not when the world outside is this alive. But I'll rest enough to function. She smiled faintly, almost as if acknowledging the stubbornness of humans. Rest well. Tomorrow will demand even more from us. He nodded, feeling the weight of the mission pressing on his shoulders. But for now, he allowed himself to sit in this moment, sharing warmth, sharing trust, sharing survival. He was human, and humans thrived in the impossible. And perhaps he thought that was why she moved closer, not out of desire, but out of understanding. Humans earned respect through action, through courage, through the quiet strength to survive when all odds seemed against them. Outside, the storm raged, painting the alien forest with lightning and mist. Inside, in a small outpost on a distant world, a human and an alien had formed a fragile bond. One built on trust, one built on survival, one that promised that together they could face whatever the universe would throw at them next. Morning came slowly on the alien world. The storm had passed, leaving the bioluminescent forest outside shimmering with dew and mist. The air was thick, heavy with the scent of alien flora, but calmer now, as if the planet itself had exhaled after the violent night. Alex woke to the soft hum of the outpost's energy core and the quiet movements of Leora nearby. She was already at the control panel, checking the status of the shields and communication systems. Morning, Alex said, stretching stiff muscles. Didn't expect to wake up this early. Leora looked over her shoulder, her expression calm but alert. The world outside does not sleep. We cannot either. The storms can return quickly and the systems must be ready. Alex nodded. He had learned from the previous night that survival here demanded constant vigilance. He stepped toward her carrying a portable sensor unit. Together they began checking the outpost's defenses, calibrating sensors and reinforcing the energy shields. Every task highlighted the stark contrast between human ingenuity and alien knowledge. Alex combined practical improvisation with Leora's precise expertise, forming a seamless partnership. Hours passed, but the day was not quiet. A warning light blinked on the main console. Alex leaned closer. Pressure readings on the outer perimeter are spiking. Something large is moving in the forest. Leora's eyes narrowed. A native predator, perhaps. Or another storm-induced shift. We need to investigate carefully. Humans and aliens can both survive, but alone we are vulnerable. Alex adjusted his equipment, feeling the familiar rush of focus. Let's go. They stepped outside into the alien morning, the glowing forest stretching endlessly in all directions. The light was soft, but enough to reveal strange, towering plants and faint movements among the foliage. Every step Alex took reminded him why humans had survived so long. Instinct, quick thinking, and adaptability. The alien world was unpredictable, but he felt alive in a way that was rare on controlled, safe planets. Leora led the way with confidence, scanning the area with her advanced sensors. Alex followed, keeping his eyes on the forest. Every sound seemed amplified. The crack of distant branches, the whisper of wind across alien leaves, the soft hum of hidden life. They moved with precision, communicating silently when needed. Suddenly, a massive shadow loomed ahead. Alex froze for a fraction of a second before Leora whispered, "Stay calm. Observe first." The shadow resolved into a large creature unlike anything Alex had ever seen. Its body was lithe and muscular, covered in reflective scales that shimmered in the soft light. Its eyes glowed faintly, intelligent, calculating. The predator did not attack immediately. It seemed to study them. Alex's heart raced. He knew humans could face incredible dangers, but it was moments like this that tested everything he had learned about courage and strategy. He adjusted his stance, keeping his sensors ready and his mind focused. "We move slowly," Leora said, her voice low but steady. "We are not prey. We are a force to be reckoned with. Observe its movements and follow my lead." Alex nodded. He mirrored her calmness, letting instinct and training guide him. Together they circled the creature, noting its behavior. Leora whispered strategies, and Alex executed them with precision. Every step demonstrated human adaptability, improvisation, and courage. The alien watched with quiet fascination, clearly impressed by Alex's skill. Hours later, they returned to the outpost, having successfully navigated the encounter without conflict. Alex set down his equipment, breathing heavily but smiling. "Humans adapt," he said simply. Leora nodded, her expression softening. "I see that more clearly now. Your species, it is remarkable. You do not rely solely on strength or numbers. You rely on mind, courage, and intuition. That is why you survive." Alex felt a sense of pride that had little to do with ego and everything to do with purpose. He was human, and humans thrived where others faltered. Leora's acknowledgement mattered. It was validation from a species far older and wiser than his own. As the day progressed, they focused on reinforcing the outpost and exploring the immediate area. Leora taught Alex subtle ways to read alien terrain, detect hidden threats, and use native resources for survival. In turn, Alex demonstrated human engineering tricks, improvised tools, quick fixes, and solutions that required no complex equipment. Together they became more than a team. They were a single unit, combining the best of both species. By nightfall, the alien world had transformed again. Mist rolled through the forest, illuminated by the faint glow of native plants. Alex and Leora returned to the small sleeping quarters. There was still only one bed, but the awkward tension of the previous night had faded. Now, sitting near each other, the closeness felt natural, built on trust, mutual respect, and shared survival. Leora glanced at him, her large eyes reflecting the dim light. "You face danger without hesitation. You take risks others would avoid. That earns respect. That earns trust." Alex nodded. "Humans survive by adapting. We face the impossible. That's all, but it means something to have someone who trusts you, even if it's an alien." Her gaze softened. "Trust is rare. You have it." The two shared a quiet moment, listening to the hum of the outpost and the distant whispers of the alien forest. The closeness was not romantic in the traditional sense. It was a bond forged by survival, respect, and understanding. Both had relied on the other, and both recognized the value of the connection. Suddenly, an alert rang through the outpost. Alex leapt to the control panel. Sensors are picking up movement near the supply bay. Something is trying to breach the perimeter. Leora followed, analyzing the readings. It could be native predators or displaced wildlife from the storm. Either way, we cannot risk exposure. Humans have ingenuity. We can combine it with our technology to stop them. They rushed to the supply bay, preparing barriers and traps. Alex improvised a containment field using leftover energy modules, while Leora enhanced it with precise adjustments. The combination of human improvisation and alien precision created a defense far stronger than either could have managed alone. Hours passed in tense preparation. Finally, the threat arrived. A pack of alien predators, sleek and intelligent, attempting to breach the perimeter. Alex and Leora worked seamlessly, using sound, light, and energy fields to control their movement. The predators were cautious, wary of the humans' ingenuity. Every move Alex made demonstrated the adaptability and resilience of his species. By the time the predators retreated, the outpost was safe. Alex leaned against a wall, exhausted but triumphant. Leora approached him, placing a hand lightly on his shoulder. Your species. It inspires. You adapt when others fail, improvise when others hesitate. That is strength beyond measure. Alex smiled, feeling the weight of their shared experiences. We survive because we must. And sometimes, it helps to have someone to trust alongside you. The night grew quiet again. The storms were gone and the forest seemed to exhale, leaving a calm, almost peaceful atmosphere. Alex and Leora returned to the small sleeping quarters. There was still only one bed, but this time it did not matter. They sat together, sharing warmth, speaking quietly about survival strategies, alien cultures, and human resilience. I've learned a lot from you, Leora admitted. Not just about survival, but about your species. You face impossible odds and still endure. That is admirable, Alex shrugged, smiling faintly. Humans endure. That's what we do. But it's not easy. Every day is a choice to keep going, to keep surviving. She nodded, her gaze steady. And that is why I trust you. Not just because you are skilled or brave, but because you persist. That is rare, even among the strongest of my people. They sat quietly, the bond between them deepening. Outside, the alien world stretched endlessly, full of beauty and danger. Inside, in the small outpost on a distant planet, a human and an alien had found a connection built on trust, respect, and shared experience. The closeness was natural now, a simple gesture of warmth and reliance. Alex realized something important. Humans thrived not just through strength or technology, but through cooperation, courage, and adaptability. In this moment, Leora's respect and trust were proof of that. Humans could survive anywhere, inspire anyone, and form bonds across worlds. The night deepened and the outpost was quiet. Alex and Leora shared a space of trust and mutual understanding. The storms outside were gone, but the challenges of the alien world remained. Together they would face them, combining human ingenuity and alien knowledge in a partnership neither species could have anticipated. And as they finally settled down near the bed, side by side, Alex understood something profound. Humans thrived in impossible situations, not just by surviving, but by inspiring trust, respect, and admiration even in the most unexpected places. In the quiet, glowing world of the alien forest, two beings from different worlds had formed a bond that promised they could face anything the universe threw at them next. The alien night continued, full of quiet beauty and distant sounds. Inside, the human and the alien shared a fragile, enduring warmth, the warmth of trust, survival, and mutual respect. And in that moment, Alex felt the truth of humanity's strength more clearly than ever. Humans endure, adapt, and inspire no matter the world.